Hi again and welcome to the Project Management Insights podcast. I'm Dave Litton and today I'm going to explore a topic that's shaping modern workplaces and project teams called equality, diversity and inclusion within project management, also known as EDI. So I have just published a similar podcast on the same topic, but based on the Prince 2 7th edition exam. And I did it as a separate podcast so that the exam focus will help you decide which podcast is suitable for you. However, because of that previous podcast, this one will cover various similar details, as you'd expect, since the topic is equality, diversity and inclusion. But as I said, I've created both so that you, my listener, can choose which one to listen to based on your exam and study needs. So here we're going to focus on two exams, because EDI is now a key part of the 2025 Association for Project Management PMQ exam, or APM PMQ, as well as the Project Management Institute of America, their PMP exams. And of course that reflects EDI's growing importance within project management. So in this podcast I'll be covering inclusive leadership, bias awareness in stakeholder engagement, and the real benefits of having diverse teams. So let's get started with practical insights you can apply to your projects. First up then, what is EDI in project management? Well, equality, diversity and inclusion isn't just a checklist. It's about creating project environments where everyone can contribute fully. Equality means ensuring fair treatment and opportunities for all team members, regardless of background. Whereas diversity is all about recognizing and valuing differences. Think of these in terms of age, gender, race, disability, or cultural perspectives. And inclusion relates to tying these all together by fostering a sense of belonging so that everyone feels safe to share ideas. So in project management, EDI matters because projects thrive on collaboration. And the APM PMP 2025 syllabus emphasizes creating inclusive cultures to boost team performance. For example, a 2020 McKinsey study found companies with diverse teams are 25% more likely to outperform financially due to varied perspectives driving better decision making. And so for project managers, this means building teams where differences are strengths, not barriers. So the 2025 PMP exam now tests your ability to apply EDI principles. So understanding these concepts is critical for certification and real-world success. Next up, let's talk about inclusive leadership. Now this concerns leading in a way that ensures every team member feels valued and heard. It's not enough just to have a diverse team. Leaders must actively create spaces where everyone can contribute. And the 2025 APM PMQ syllabus highlights this inclusive leadership as a core skill, and the PMP exam includes it within its people domain. So, what does inclusive leadership look like? Well, first, it's all about active listening. So when running meetings, ensure quieter team members also have a chance to speak. For example, try what's known as round-robin feedback, where everyone shares one idea before the meeting turns into an open discussion. Second, it's about flexibility. If a team member has, for example, childcare responsibilities or mentoring responsibilities elsewhere, schedule a meeting at times that can work for them. Third, it's about accountability. Set clear expectations for respectful behaviour and address any exclusionary actions immediately. Here's a real-world example. A project manager I work with noticed her team's younger members hesitated to speak up in meetings dominated by senior staff. So she introduced a rule where everyone had 2 minutes to share their thoughts from the start. And this small change led to a 30% in ideas that were proposed, as was tracked in meeting notes over 3 months. So therefore, inclusive leadership isn't complicated, but it does require intention. Another key aspect is empowering others. So delegate tasks on skills, not assumptions about who fits the role. After all, it's capabilities that count. So if you're assigning a technical lead, consider a range of candidates, not just the most vocal. Project Management Institute's PMP 2025 updates emphasize empowering diverse teams to improve project outcomes. So practicing this now prepares you for both exams and real-life projects. This brings us to bias awareness in stakeholder engagement. Now, bias, whether conscious or unconscious, can derail projects by skewing decisions or alienating stakeholders. Conscious bias, of course, is deliberate, like favouring a stakeholder because of shared interests. Whereas unconscious bias is a bit trickier. It's automatic, shaped often by upbringing or past experiences. And both of these biases are addressed in the 2025 APM PMQ and PMP syllabuses as they impact project success. For example, in a stakeholder meeting, you might unconsciously prioritise input from senior leaders over junior team members. However, this risks missing valuable insights. A 2021 study by Harvard Business Review found teams that actively manage bias in decision-making see a 15% improvement in project success rates. And that's impressive. So how do you manage bias? Well, the first step is to start by recognizing it. Before a stakeholder meeting, how about listing your assumptions about who will contribute most? Then challenge those by inviting input from everyone, especially those you might overlook. A practical tip here: use structured decision-making tools like the stakeholder analysis matrix. This forces you, in a nice way, to evaluate each stakeholder's influence and interest objectively, thereby reducing bias. For instance, when planning a project kick-off meeting, rank stakeholders by their impact on the project, not your personal comfort with them. You see, the PMP exam now tests your ability to identify and mitigate bias. So practice this in your projects. Another strategy is seeking diverse perspectives. If you're engaging stakeholders from different regions, how about considering cultural differences? In a global project I managed, spanning the UK, Central and Eastern Asia, I assumed a stakeholder's silence meant agreement, but in their culture it signalled disagreement. That's an interesting point, isn't it? So after a quick check-in, we clarified their concerns, thereby avoiding a major delay. So training on cultural awareness, as recommended by the APM syllabus, helps catch such biases early in the project. Moving on now to the benefits of having team diversity. Diverse teams bring varied perspectives, one of the strengths, which drive creativity and better problem solving. The 2025 APM Association of Project Management PMQ exam syllabus notes that diverse thinking enhances project innovation, while referring to the PMP exam, team diversity emphasizes team performance. So I have included references to McKinsey 2020, Harvard Business Review 2021, and BCG 2023 studies, since they provide credible data for this podcast. A 2023 BCG study found diverse teams deliver 19% higher innovation rates because they challenge assumptions and generate unique ideas. Take a software development team. Let's say a team with members from different technical backgrounds, say coding, Unix design, and data analysis. Such a rich mixed team can spot issues a uniform team, standard team if you will, might miss. For example, a diverse team caught a user interface flaw that a less varied team overlooked, thereby saving 10% on rework costs. The evidence and data is already there to show why you should be considering EDI. Diversity isn't just about demographics. You see, diversity isn't just about demographics. It's about different skills, different experiences, and different ways of thinking. Diverse teams also provide stakeholder trust. When your team reflects the diversity of your stakeholders, whether we're talking about clients, end users, or sponsors, they're more likely to feel understood. In a 2022 project, the diverse team mirrored the client's global customer base, and due to this, it led to a 20% increase in client satisfaction scores, as measured by the post-project surveys. Now, to maximize these benefits, foster psychological safety. What this means is creating an environment where team members feel safe to take risks or disagree. One way to model vulnerability as a leader is to admit when you don't know something. Modern thinking certainly talks about successful teams should not be scared of making mistakes, as long, of course, as they learn from them. If the culture is that any mistakes are seen as failure, then no one will take risks to generate opportunities. In a recent project, a project manager shared a mistake he made in scheduling, which encouraged the team to flag issues early, cutting delays by 15%. And both the APM and PMP exams now test your ability to build such environments. So it's a skill worth practicing. Don't you agree? So finally, let's look at applying EDI to your projects. How exactly do you put this into action? Well, here are 3 steps for you to start today. Step number 1. Assess your team's diversity. Look carefully at skills, backgrounds and perspectives. If it's too uniform, bring in new voices, maybe like a consultant or cross-departmental member. The new voice could come from areas within your organization as diverse as customer support, engineering, design, sustaining, or what have you. Second step, train yourself on bias. If you wish to, take a free online course on unconscious bias. PMI and APM offer resources aligned with their 2025 syllabus. The Prince 2 2025 manual has great information on the different types of bias. Third, prioritize inclusion in every meeting. Use tools like anonymous surveys to gather input from quieter team members. As I said earlier, particularly to check whether cultural differences means being quiet means acceptance or disagreement. For exam preparation, focus on real-world applications. The APM PMQ asks for examples of inclusive leadership, so practice scenarios like resolving team conflicts respectfully. The PMP exam tests bias mitigation, so please study stakeholder analysis techniques. Both the exams I've mentioned value practical knowledge, so apply these principles in your projects to build confidence. Okay, so that's it for today's episode on equality, diversity and inclusion within project management. I have covered inclusive leadership, bias awareness and the benefits of diverse teams. All of them key topics for the 2025 APM PMQ and PMP exams. Why don't you try one strategy right now, like structured stakeholder analysis or inclusive meeting rules on projects or initiatives that you may be involved with, and see the difference it makes. So, thanks for listening to my Project Management Insights podcast. I'm Dave Litton from Projex Academy. So until we meet up next time, it's bye for now.